The start of Miss Art World came out of a video piece that was the birth of her, and it was, you can find it on my YouTube channel, but it is going through very much as a story of being a pageant girl, going through the motions, following the rules, and then kind of breaking out of that and confronting the really idea of pageantry and how a winner wins. It's you win from being judged by a panel of judges, and you are compared to all these other girls on stage. It is a competition, and any pageant girl that tells you otherwise is lying to you. So it was really about me breaking through and I go into a pool of glitter and come out and sash myself, and it's really kind of this, you have to lose yourself and become a little crazy to find yourself. It wasn't intended to be a character. It wasn't something a part of me or I was acting as Miss Art World. It was me, Catherine Cooksey, not competing for a title, but being able to say, I am worthy, I am valuable, I am beautiful, and therefore, because I value myself, I am giving myself this title that I can use to hopefully influence other women to say, you don't have to compete. Even out of pageantry, you don't have to compete as a woman to be the prettiest, to be the most beautiful, to be the most attractive. As long as you are valuing yourself, you are able to give yourself that power. It was really in the 5th grade is when my whole world changed. I was diagnosed with an incurable eye disease called dominant optic optotrophy, and I'm probably not saying it correctly. I apologize. But how it was explained to me was I don't get enough blood to either of my optic nerves, so it creates a very pixelated view of the world. My father started to teach me how to paint. I showed a little bit of interest, and my parents also were very aware that this eye disease could affect me, and so they really wanted to encourage me to do other things. And so I started painting, and in the 7th grade I took an art class, and my art teacher said that you can't be a professional artist because you can't see. I pretty much gave up on wanting to be an artist and instead looked at something else that I could do, and that came in the form of pageantry. I was in class, and there was a poster up for pageants, and I said, well, I could do that. And I grew up very feminine. Like, I was always into tutus and glitter and makeup, and my poor mom, who grew up as a tomboy, had no idea what to do with me on that sense. But I said, hey, I want to do a pageant. And my mom said, no, we're not doing a pageant, because she's very much a feminist, and it was against everything she believed. And I kept on asking, and eventually she gave in, because she also wanted to encourage me in my interests, and I was having trouble in school because in the 7th grade or 8th grade you have multiple classes, so I had 6 different teachers, and I know that I probably was a difficult student to have because I was a student with disabilities, so I needed special accommodations. I needed big print books, so my textbook was in volumes. I also needed extra time on tests. I needed to sit in front of the classroom. If it was projected, I needed it printed out. And I had teachers that just didn't quite want to accommodate me all the time, so it was always a battle in schools. So when I expressed interest in doing the pageant, we finally were able to do it. My mom and I went, and she put, I think, blush on me and maybe lip gloss, because I was still very young and she was against me wearing any makeup. And it was a Hawaiian Tropic pageant. So all it was I was in a swimsuit, and you'd walk on stage and pose a couple times and walk off, and then that's how they judged you. And actually, those pageants aren't around anymore, but I did those for several years because I was just, that was going to be my thing, because I couldn't do art because I couldn't see, I couldn't do well in school because I couldn't see, but I could do well in pageantry because I couldn't see the audience, and I would never get nervous. It wasn't until I was 16 years old, roughly, that I rediscovered my passion for the arts. From then on, it was just an obsession. I probably did about 30 paintings in 2 years, enough to where I was able to get a scholarship to Cal State Bakersfield for art. Miss Art World is basically a lifelong performance piece that I have challenged myself to do. And I say challenge because it is a challenge. I wish I could say that I am always confident, I'm always valuing myself, I always think I feel beautiful and confident and smart, and I don't always have that confidence. And really, a lot of my confidence came from competing in pageantry, and if I didn't win, I would scrutinize my body and my performance and how I did, and if I won, I was overjoyed because I was the winner and I was the best out of the batch. And really, that is a very dangerous thought process for any person. It sounds silly, but going out and wearing the sash, and in the back of my head I'm like, well, no one gave you the right to wear this sash, no one nominated you, no one let you win a pageant that was Miss Art World. You're just saying, I'm Miss Art World, and people are going to call you out on that and say, well, you're not worthy. And I'm really there to challenge myself and say, no, I am worthy. I don't need someone to give me value. Miss Art World really came from this kind of issue that I was having with myself. I have always tried to separate my art and my history with pageantry away from each other, because they didn't seem to really fit together, even though all of the art that I was doing was talking about my history with the model and pageantry industry and my beliefs in, as far as a feminist, and how those didn't fit together. And so I thought art and pageantry didn't fit together, but in reality, all the work that I was doing was about the history I was feeling and the experiences that I was getting out of having been in pageants. So I've gotten a little bit of a pushback from using the word Miss instead of Mrs., and it mainly comes from women, which I think is really interesting, is that they're questioning Miss. And I've even had a friend say, oh, you use Miss Art World because you don't want people to know you're married, which is absolutely not true at all. Most people know I'm married. I don't try and hide that fact. Tyler, my husband, comes with me to all my art shows. He's usually in a performance with me. He does my YouTube channel with me as well. My concept behind using Miss instead of Mrs. was the fact that if you're a man, you are Mr. throughout your whole life. Mr. doesn't change ever, whether you're married or not. Whereas women are defined by getting married. And that, to me, is wrong. I think it should be the same for both men and women. And that you shouldn't have your value change whether you are able to be pursued or not. So I'm married, very happily. I will tell that to anyone, but I also don't believe in being defined by my marriage. Miss Art World is really about not needing affirmation from others to know your own value. You can value and be confident in yourself in any situation, whether you're dolled up or have no makeup on. The value of yourself and the confidence you have comes from you, not from other people around you.